Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury. He's Tay-Tay.
Yo!
And we can go the distance. If you know that song, you know what I'm talking about. And I played that. I learned that yesterday. I had about, not really a lot of time, about half an hour probably to sit at this. But there's been some really important updates to the piano. Not much to go around, so I won't waste your time in this video. A bit of talking, a bit of demonstrating through. There'll be other videos to come where hopefully we get a specialist along. Rob Wallace is the man. By the way, if you want to learn technical bits about this, go to the Sound Technology YouTube page. If you've bought this thing, Rob explains it very well. I'm just going to show you through the new features that are involved in the Nord Piano 5. Let's do it! This is the 88 key version. There's a 73 key version as well. First new thing is the 73 key version actually has the same action. In the last one, you had to get a different action if you got the smaller one. So that's cool. This one's 18.5 kilograms. The other one's 15 kilograms. It's their triple sensor grand weighted action, they call it. There's a feature in a bit I'll show you with the new sample section where that triple sensor really helps. It's for... Sorry if I look like a little... For stuff like that, you need the three sensors because you can be really quick. You don't have to go all the way up to trigger a note again. Simple as that. Massive thing for this is dual layers on both sections. So we can layer a piano and we can layer the sample synth section. There's some patches in here that show that off. Let's go to a simple joy and we'll stick in the key of D. Oh, it's really nice, really nice. And what you're hearing there are layers of the piano. So on this first layer, if I tap this, I can see I've got a grand piano. When I go to the other one, I've got an upright. And it's simple as I can tap them off. I've got nothing now. Layer A. Tap them. Now I'm just doing layer B. And together. Let's find another one, 45, Synths. Nord Piano is getting some fresh new stuff with those layers. What we're hearing there is not only a layer on here, so we've got a grand piano and an electric piano on the piano section. We've now got a synth pad and a synth bass down here. I'll talk about some of the layering things in a second. And if you're not familiar with the Nord range, the Nord stage being the daddy up the top, that's one of the big things about the Nord stage is that you have dual layers for each section. So that's been around for a long time. And the Nord Piano 5 makes it even more of a difficult decision for people to choose between the two. And we'll talk about that in a bit in the video. Other thing is doubled the memory on both sections. So we've got 2 gigabytes in the piano and 1 gigabyte in the sample synth thing. That means that when you're getting it out the box, we go back to that first patch. I've got loads of other videos on the Nord things. Sorry if I'm flicking across this, but in here, in this first section here, this is where you choose what type of piano you've got. And it says on this list here, white grand, royal grand, velvet grand. These are all different types of piano, so I'll play them for you. So you can hear that variety. You've actually got 9 grand pianos, 9 uprights, which I love because we love the uprights. We did another video on upright pianos recently. I'm going to point to the sky. There we are. And 10 electric pianos. So that big memory now is that out of the box, you've got the whole shebang-a-lang in there. Before I used to say to people, go home, you haven't got much memory, pick your favourites and put in the bigger version, because you can go on the website and pick and choose from any of the sounds. When you buy a Nord, it's like access to this super exclusive club on their website where you've got all the sounds you could ever want, I ever want on there, and you can freely exchange them. Bit of software that does that. Talking about the samples, there's a new sample format that's come out with this model as well. It's the NSMP4. Very catchy. Nat. And the problem is when they do this new sample format, unfortunately all your old stuff that you did in another sample format doesn't go in here. User sample stuff does. So we had a good friend Dave Tench come in and he'd created some user samples for it. That will upload. But any other patches you made with old sample format aren't going to get in here. So why have we done it? Why the new sample format? Well, these are the things. We're going to go there and I'm going to try to show this off. I made a note of a patch. One of the first things is true vibrato. So I went to A34, no, A54 I think it was, sorry, my eyesight. Oboe solo. So let's check this out. Now that seems silly, and you're like, oh, that's nice, but it's really nice vibrato, right? Before, in any of the other Nord sample formats, I'd have to put that vibrato on myself with maybe an oscillator. It wasn't baked into the sample. This is another way. That's why you've seen cats still pairing a Nord with a workstation or a Kronos or something like that. And I'm excited to get this into the stage where we can have more expressive samples actually in the sample itself. So we've got that. I made another one, L44, L44, flute solo. It's just nice having a vibrato. If you think before, you're like, hang on, that never had that. It never had it. So there might be a reason to get this one. The other one is advanced unison. Now, what patches show this off? L25. This is some pan flutes, I think. Essentially, it's this button here that you're getting. So without it, with it, the way it was, it's intelligently multiplied the sample. So without it, really tasty the way that's done. I've got another one where that shows that off, which was K24. K24, soft brass layer. Pretty tasty little thing in there. The other one is round robin samples. Fresh technology again. What patch should we go for? A34. I spent a lot of time on the A34. Come from Dorset. Here we go. Acoustic guitar finger. Check this out. So the round robin thing is that instead of just playing the same sample every time, it has a bank of samples it can play. So when you're doing stuff like these acoustic things, acoustic guitar samples, a little bit more realism, so check it out. Here we go. That's just not my velocity. So it's intelligently randomizing the samples. But it's nice with the round robins and the triple sensor thing. You can be a bit faster, even like me, who basically doesn't play piano anymore. So even my rusty old fingers can get going. What's the other one? Legato and monophonic samples. This is a bit where, if you on the old Nord pianos, the only bit we really used the sample section for was maybe some string pads and things like that. But here we can fake some proper lead piano sounds without the pitch bend and mod wheel, which I still miss. But if you're that type of guy, that's the stage. If you're the guy that needs widdly sticks, you have to shell out for the stage, sadly. But I do think you get a lot more on the stage. This represents, you should think more of like getting that stage awesomeness at a much lower cost, more than like missing out. And I really mean that. A55. Here we go. Oh, so this is a split. If I go for the key of G. Proper mono synth sound. You can play all the synth stuff without the whittle stick. It's a really good compromise they put in there. I really dig that. And more than half of the samples that come with this keyboard aren't in any of the other Nord keyboards, which is pretty cool. At first glance, when we got it out of the box, Taylor and I were like, oh, they've done another one. It just doesn't look any different. Nord are very confident in their products, I think, and they realise they don't reinvent the wheel, but they give you the option. If you want this new stuff, hey, you can buy this new stuff. If you think, oh no, I only need what was in the last version, I think they're cool with that too, as well. And that's why they support their products for such a long time as well. One of the other things they've got here are flexible split points. Just made this ghetto patch to show you the split feature in case you don't know about it. I've got a electric piano on the bottom. Got a piano on the right hand. Now if I start going down, you hear that change? It's a hard C change. If I go shift and crossfade 1, it's putting a crossfade between the samples, so it's not so deadly if I go across. Now if I want the wider crossfade, second one, and it just means it's a really smooth touch to put that on any splits you're doing. I really dig that. I really dig that. What else is new? So I've got some notes under the camera. I'm trying to get this through. Flexible keyboard splits. New reverb. We can do this on this patch. So, actually, we'll flip back to, this is the normal white grand. No reverb on it. And we're going to play. Cool. First one, and these are from the Nord Wave 2. They're really good at sneaking in their technology. This is the booth. Actually, I'll do something a bit purer. So there's no reverb. Booth. Crank it. It's a really claustrophobic small space, smaller than the room, which is, hear that? Yeah, a bit shorter decay on it, because you don't have a lot of control, so that change in algorithm is helpful. Got the hall, and then we've also got the cathedral. Which sounds beautiful, like one of the expensive Meris pedals. If also I can go shift and get a modulated version, chorale. without the chorale. And that's a beautiful reverb by anyone's standard. And we can have it bright and dark. So let's hear that bright. Dark. Really nice. If the stage always looks like a cockpit and too scary, the piano is a great one, especially if you're not an organ focus. No organs on here. If piano's your thing, you're a singer-songwriter, you want a beautiful master keyboard, this is a really good one to go for. One other thing I want to show you is the delay. So we can now put different amounts of delay on each layer. Super powerful. The other thing we can do, which is the main thing for me, is ping pong. So check this out. In that intro, I was... So that's the... It was luckily kind of in the right tempo. I don't know how that happened. And then shift ping pong. Hear that going? And then we get the feedback with here. Maybe a bit much. I love maybe a little bit more feedback, put that cathedral on there. One last thing, I can layer that piano up and maybe put an upright underneath it, and now I'm in this layer, I can detune it. So you can get those layered 80s sounds to my ear. One little thing I just want to explain with one of the big differences. When you buy the stage, you spend all that money, you get, in my opinion, the best keyboard out there. With the piano, when you spend the money on the piano, you get an accessory that's a fair whack of money, which is the Nord triple pedal. Now, why do you want that? Well, it gives you the sostenuto and the other one, I forgot what it's called. Gives you all of that functionality, but it's also dynamic, which means that when I have pedal noise on, you'll hear it. It's really adds a layer of realism, and these are really important functions here on the piano. If I turn off string resonance here and I hold this key down, check this out, dies. String resonance on, and that's doing that polyphonically, so I pretty much always leave string resonance on because it makes it sound a lot more realistic to me. The other one is soft release. In the intro again I had that because I felt like on these passages here, so I have both on. I wanted it to be a soft release when I came off. Hear that subtle difference? So this is without the soft release. With. Just a little bit over the hill. It's very subtle. But when you're playing legato things or soft things, it will make you sound smooth. That's about it. We're going to have some other videos on it. I am going to find a patch that I like the sound of. That Cinder City sounded nice, I think. And well, I've done loads of videos showing off. I've got a whole series on the Nord versus Yamaha where I play through all the sounds in it. If you want me to do more on it, let me know. I'm hoping to get Rob Wallace along to explain the nitty-gritty on it. Let's get into it. Thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing. If you don't, let us know. We learn from it. Thank you guys. Thanks for being around. And let's go for the key of F.
you.